Hello, the news of today are related to the non-governmental organizations, terrorism, war, ethnic conflicts, economy, and migration. First of all, let's start with non-governmental organizations. A non-governmental organization is an organization that doesn't have any relation or relevance in the government, and their goal is always or most common to help others. Yesterday, the former football player Diego Maradona accepted the position of General Director of a non-governmental organization called Football for Unity, offered by the Queen of England, Elizabeth II. And the former player saying his official Facebook profile the next phrase, "I'm Diego Armando Maradona. I greet His Majesty, the Queen and the British Parliament," and announced that wholeheartedly accept the appointment I was given to the foundation in Latin America. It's established that this is a non-governmental organization and it was emphasized by both sides. And its the main goal is to unify all the communities of the world with one game, the football. Now let's move to terrorism. Terrorism is established as a political violence that targets the civilians indiscriminately. With the attacks on France a few days ago, many countries start to worry about a probability of a terrorist attack in its area, and Latin America is no exception. The studies say that in Latin America there are four main factors that promote the terrorism. Let's start. The first one is the illegal activity in Colombia of many armed groups, and regardless that they say there are no reports in this state, there is established that in Colombia there are many groups that provoke illicit relations and business like armed conflicts and money clearing. The second risk factor is the fight between groups in areas of South America that have relation with Latin America because the drug cartels related to it. The third factor is that the governments are not taking action to prevent the increasement of these groups. They have the tools needed to stop it, but no one's doing anything. The fourth factor is the growing involvement of extra-regional terrorist groups from other countries to Latin America. They say that in Latin America they have more opportunities to achieve their goals than in their countries. In conclusion, in Latin America maybe there is no terrorist attack for now, but it represents many risks and factors that could provoke a terrorist attack in the near future. That's all.
Hello, in other news, we have the wars in Latin America. Well, first we're going to talk about what is a war. A war consists on a conflict declared between two states or two nations in an open or indirect weapon conflict. But well, we're going to proceed. The first is the wars in Latin America. We have a third triangle of Honduras, El Salvador, and Guatemala. These three countries have a lot of troubles since 2012 from now because the government is good but it's not stable. Some guerrillas try to re-establish their own government by trying to kill some people, kill some governors, kill some functionaries of politics and other people. In Colombia, we also have a lot of troubles because the gangs that try to reestablish the government of the drugs and his elder drug lord, named Pablo Escobar, died. Colombia has a lot of difficulties in his economy because they want to change his government from a democratic government to authorities government with an economy based on the drugs. And the ONU or the ON try to reestablish the democratic government because the drugs are not an option in Colombia. They are the government. And the United Nations don't want a government based on the economy of drugs. So we're going to talk about this later. See you.
Hello, I'm going to talk about ethnic conflicts. But first, we need to know what is it. Ethnic conflicts are conflicts of idea or a group of people that they looking to feel a need or looking justice. And also, this is just an one country conflict. In Latin America, there's still numbers of disputes within Indians groups that are claiming control of the ancestral territory and respect for their culture. In Mexico, there has been an ethnic conflict for more than 15 years by the natives who are in the country. An example of this is in 1994, the Zapatista Army of National Liberty took up arms in Chiapas demanding recovery of lands, Indians' autonomy and recognition of the rights of these minorities. They led the occupation for about 250,000 hectares of land, and today some of these are in dispute. Mexico maintains this war against the Indians' lands that call back their territory. Also, in northern Peru, there has been a series of violent causes in the past 2 months between authorities and communities struggle to protect their ancestral territory. So we need to know that most of the ethnic conflicts in Latin America was for more than 15 years. So if we don't work looking for an answer to work in peace or stay in peace, we need to find the answer later. So we are going to wait a day and make the peace. So now we are going to talk about the economy in Latin America. The economy of a country or a group of countries is the financial, monetary status and total trade agreements of socialization so compared with the other countries to consider stable and independent. The economy in recent years of Latin America has been declining significantly. Unfortunately, the financial crisis in Europe has been influencing the economy of Latin America by the unstable economy of Chinese and its collapse in the market. We expect a very weak run, said Eugenio Alemán, senior economist at Wells Fargo Securities. Brazil is in bad shape, Argentina is not much better, Chile has been reduced to a trickle. Venezuela is possible considered the worst economy of the world. Colombia has the worst market in the world this year. Also, Mexico, Chile and Peru are safe of these days of this inflation. So we need to know that the economy of Latin America is worst because of the influence of the other countries like China or USA. So many countries in Latin America are very dependent of these countries and they don't have the ability to be stable, and so they need their help. So a solution of this is to pay the debts of Latin America to China or USA and try to be more independent of other countries to not fall with them.
To talk about the migration in Latin America. In many countries, there's people that want to go to the USA because they have a quality of life, bad quality of life in their countries, especially in South America and Caribbean. But the ones that wants to go to that place, they pass to Guatemala and then to Mexico, and here's the problem. Most of the people that cross the border of this country, they lose up everything. And that's a problem that we live today. But now there's a non-governmental organization that it's called Estancia del Migrante González y Martínez, where the migrants can be and they can receive food, clothing, and medical care. It's a good place where they can be, but if the migrants are more, they have to be expelled or they offer a rent house. But in Mexico has increased the 52% of the migrants. Now the solution is not to build a wall, said the president of the countries of Latin America. They actually have a Congress where they decide to do an activity that consists that in the north of the border they have to guarantee the rights of the migrants, and in the south of the border they have to check if this country are doing the correct, and they have to make the papers to cross to another country. Well, that was the last news, and I hope you can be conscious about this problem because many people have suffered of this consequence.